Alright, what's going on? It's your boy Lex, and today we have some more Try Hard Ladder content. I stole this game off of a random OLT, or stole this team rather, off of a random OLT game I saw, and it seemed like it would actually be pretty decent. It had a Hydrapple, which is one of my favorite guys, so I had to check it out. It revealed Dragon Tail, but not any item besides max defense, so I'm thinking it's probably Assault Vest if it's Dragon Tail. And then the rest of the sets I kind of just filled in based on my calculations on the spreads and stuff like that. I could actually see Lando being Ghost because there is a hazard stack component to this team and a phasing with Dragon Tail, Future Sight, all that. So maybe it's Terra Ghost just to have some way to spin block punish Tusk if needed. But yeah, this should be fun. I'll link this team in the description down below. Based off my copy, I don't actually know the full real sets, but this is my general assumption, and let's get started. Hopefully we run into some OLT players. Oh yeah, I managed to recover all my points from the cheese videos, so that's nice at least. I got all the way back up to 1965, just loading my boy AV Zapdos, you know how it be. But yeah, hopefully we get something cool. Unfortunately, we don't get an OLT player, and we're facing against Arbeliva Rain, game number 1. Okay, yeah, sure. That's what we're gonna be doing. I guess I'll just lead. I don't know. I think Hydrapple's probably fine. It should be able to beat everything 1v1. Barring something like Specs Kingdra lead, but that would be a pretty insane lead. Here we're just gonna click Giga Drain, see what this is gonna click. It's probably just eject button hat. Yeah. You know, having double regenerator pivots actually makes navigating this Kingdra really, really easy for us. Like, we could even Terra right now. Honestly, Terra's not even bad here. Do we want Terra on anything else, though? I think if we have Terra on this, then we can actually swap into that Dragonite a little easier, but nah, I think we're fine just going Slow King. Okay, they go for a nice flip turn. That was a really good play. Because they get up a free spike now. It's not amazing, but I think it's okay. Here we're just going to bring Hydrapple because max defense means we chew that with utter ease. And now we can go for another Giga Drain. Nice. And here we can actually just Treads, I think. Because we're AV, we should eat anything this hat tries to do. Oh, it's actually my Pain Split set. Oh, that's actually kind of annoying. They're able to heal basically to full. Now they bring Kingdra back in. Part of me wants to go Ogerpon to catch the very obvious flip turn. I don't think we need to make any risky moves right now. Yeah, they just go for the very, very obvious flip turn. We don't exactly have a punish for it. Here we can, you know, I don't mind going Lando once here, because I don't expect Water Move to come out. Ceaseless Edge is pretty free for them. That did a lot of damage. Is that Choice Band? No, I don't think so. Okay, but we get the free U-turn here, which is great. And we can just bring Treads in again and get the spin off. So the Samurai is still relatively healthy, which is not great. Like, it's not a very positive trade for us to constantly bring this in. Also, I just realized my dimensions are messed up. Let me fix that. Or, I mean, I still had my OLT preview thing. It's all good. Alright, this thing is actually just going to go for a free U-turn. So I'm actually going to knock it off. Okay, they go Hat instead. That's a little bizarre, but I guess we'll just fire a Quake. Because why not? I'm not sure why Pelipper wouldn't just U-turn. Maybe they're expecting like Volt Switch or something from Treads. I'm not sure, but we get a free Earthquake off, which is pretty nice. Can't lie. Part of me really wants to go to Ogerpon here, but I still think it's unnecessary. So we're just going to go Slow King again. Hopefully not get stuck in their Vortex, but he just clicks Flip again. This guy's crazy. No fear of Ogerpon. Now this bastard Samurai is back in again. Again, we're just going to go Landers and try to U-turn out. It's getting pretty annoying now. We actually threaten Rocks, but low-key, I think we go Ogerpon in case he's Aqua Jet. I should probably be calcing that Ceaseless Edge though, now that I think about it. Okay, it's Sucker Punch. That is fine. And here, I'm down to get up a Spike, I think. Yeah, spike, because I figured this Arboliva has some purpose switching into Ogerpon, so I figured it was something like that. We get the U-turn off, which does quite a bit. Does activate the train and eject them out, but what are they even going to bring in now? And that spike is going to be really helpful for us long term. It's chipping his whole team down, including Samurott. Okay, it is Dragonite. This thing is probably just going to Hurricane me if I had to guess. So we're going to U-turn. Okay. I'm down to bring Slowking in now and Chili. Oh, Chili is so free. If you ever catch Pelipper, it's the freest Chili of your life. So yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and Chili Reception, get rid of his rain. I'll just bring Ogerpon back in and go for a U-turn. U-turn is so free here. Yep, our Believer down, which doesn't sound that impressive now that I actually hear myself out loud. But now we can bring Apple in. Like I said, Apple should beat everything, basically 1v1. We can go for a Giga Drain here. It's pretty free. Actually, I guess we could have Fickle Beam, but, you know, if we didn't get the 30%, it wouldn't have mattered anyways. Here, I'm actually down to force my Terra just to see what this thing does. Oh, it's actually Dragon Dance. Okay, it's Weakness Policy Dragon Dance. What the fuck? What just happened to us? Okay, well, I think we lose because he's Weakness Policy Dragon Dance. Something I definitely didn't expect. Maybe I should have clicked Dragon Tail. But my god, what is that? What are those? This is just hard proof that random cheese can just win you games. But we're gonna go sack Ogerpon here. How are we gonna navigate this? I'm gonna go Lando here. I assume this is Aqua Tail or Terra Blast or something. Waterfall, okay. Sure. Well, we might be fine then. Because I'm pretty sure Za with Dauntless Shield should be able to eat a hit here. So, as long as we don't get flinched. Nice, we avoid it. And then what? They bring in Kingdra and Flip Turn. Alright. Oh, okay, they could just surf too. And now we can just Chili. I assume King just swaps out here to Hat. Like they just sack Hat. Yep. We'll go Treads. And we'll just knock this out with an Earthquake. I think we still win, but it's definitely a very bizarre game. Yeah, Spin wouldn't have knocked out Max Defense Hat, so we couldn't go for that. I think Knockoff should knock out this Pelipper. I lied. Absolutely not. We're just going to get the Spin off, because why not? I expect them to U-turn here. Yep. Okay, now Kingdra is in. I'm going to go ahead sack Treads. Slowking. I guess just Sludge Bomb. It's a guaranteed win. Yep. Because now they bring in Samurott. We just click Sludge Bomb. It's actually Swords Dance, so it's low-key kind of scary. But we get the poison, and I don't think it mattered anyways. He said, bro, like, he wouldn't need some kind of crit to win in the first place. I'd be very surprised if +2 Samurai in the rain, O-code, max defense Hydrapple from 100% HP, but who knows. You know, in fact, let's go ahead and calc this. And Sludge Bomb Poison? Dude, that's a 30% chance. Come on. No, we're not calcing that. Hydrapple. Nasty Plot. We'll activate the Terra. Samurott. Spelled that wrong. Swords Dance. +2. Razor Shell. In the rain. Oh, actually, that definitely did matter. Because we're not Boots, we would have taken the spikes. but he connected every single ceaseless edge in the first place, so I don't feel too bad about that. Like, he would have had to hit a total 4 in a row, plus dodge poison, and then land Razor Shell if he even is Razor Shell. So, maybe I'm coping, but I think the odds are pretty even there. Alright, moving on to the next game. We're facing its Crying. I don't know what happened to my Great Tusk Sprite, why it's showing nothing. But I feel like I've played against this team before. Unfortunately, Hoopa has a really good matchup to us. Like, it kind of destroys us. But Apple looks pretty decent with AV, Terra Poison. Kind of sits on everything. Treads is decent. No, he's Rotom. Spikes is pretty decent on Ogerpon, though. Like, that could probably be really annoying. We'll lead Ogerpon. I think it's fine into most. Into Rotom, we're just going to U-turn. See what set this is. Okay, so it's Scarf Rotom. So that is pretty annoying, but I think it's okay. We're just going to Future Sight here. Okay, we'll Future Sight Chili. I feel like getting that burn off was not worth the momentum loss from having to be locked into Scarf Wisp, but we'll see. This game is definitely going to be tricky because, like I said, we're pretty weak to things like Hoopa. Garg is also pretty annoying. Alright, Slitherwing is in. Here we'll just get our rocks up, I guess. They'll probably just slow U-turn into Hoopa, but it's a pretty free turn for us. Yeah, the only way they get around Future Sight is going to Hoopa, so they actually just eat the Future Sight, which does a lot of damage. I'm going to calc based off that. It's definitely some kind of defensive. Okay, so it's just max HP, so it probably is max defense, so I don't actually think Stone Edge kills here. So we're actually kind of forced to U-turn, which kind of sucks. But he is not healing that much because of the hail, which is kind of funny. And now we're just going to get a Future Sight up again. Yeah, letting everything get burned is definitely not ideal. Like, that's not good at all. But now we can bring in our E-Belt Zamazenta, and this basically claims a kill at this point with CC. Like, it forces Terra from this Garg for sure. Okay, so they just choose to eat the close combat from Belt. So that's actually like max defense Garg, and now Garg is definitely dead to Future Sight. So that's pretty decent progress for us. Now Tusk is in with the goal to spin. Low-key, we don't even have a great way to deal with this Tusk because Ogerpon is burned. Wait, this is going to be a tricky game. We're actually really weak to Great Tusk. Zama looks pretty decent with Slither Low, though. I think we have to Hydrapple. Yeah, we kind of do have to Hydrapple, which blows. Then let me see how much we take from Ice Spinner. Okay, Ice Spinner does 68.4. So it's never going to OHKO us unless they Terra Ice or something. Which wouldn't really make sense. So yeah, definitely AV Hoopa. Here I'm kind of down to Treads. And just get our spin off. Yep. And if they decide to Drain Punch us, I think that's fine. We don't have the permanent hazard chip from Rocks anymore. So that's pretty nice. Okay, they just decide to go Rotom, sure. Here I'm down to just Ogre Pawn, I think. Try to get a spike up, and then we can maybe think about Terra ghosting Orlando. That's a nice Volt Switch play, though. That doesn't look like special attack invested Rotom, so it's definitely some tanky stuff. We're just gonna get a spike up, though. Like, I don't really care what this does to me, because I expected Parting Shot to happen. Alright, now Tusk is in. We're gonna U-turn into Orlando to force chip on it. Which, you know, isn't a lot of chip, but chip is chip. And now we will probably just Hydrapple, I think. Yeah, we eat that spinner, and now I'm going to go ahead and Dragon Tail the Hoopa, get some damage on it. They're bringing Petron instead, though, which is Helmet. We force this Rotom in. I'm kind of down to Treads here, honestly. Actually, I guess we don't really lose anything from clicking Giga. So, or Fickle. Let's just Fickle Beam. Yeah, they go for a crazy pump. I'll just Fickle again. Hoopa comes in this time. Hazards affects Petron and Hoopa. Not sure if it affects Slitherwing. It might. And Rotom, but not Tusk. So I'm trying to figure out what our priorities are. I think I'm fine to hard switch Ogerpon here. And just U-turn probably. Now we can Ivy Cudgel. Maybe chip that Tusk a little bit more. Petron comes in. Okay, so we're just gonna let this die to get a spike up. Alright. Now we can Slow King and then Chili out. Actually, I guess we can Future Sight, honestly. Like, he doesn't really have any way to punch Future Sight besides Hoopa, which is now taking spikes. It's kind of a big deal. We can also just Sludge Bomb. Right, Sludge Bomb is actually really free, but I think we're going to Future Sight. I want to apply some more pressure. Yeah, I think Future Sight should be good here. They go for Hex, which actually does quite a bit, honestly. But now we can just bring in our AV Treads, which should wall this Petch forever. And they just go for Hex again. Now we can go for an Earthquake. I expect this to probably recover or just Parting Shot into Rotom. But either way, this Petch is going to take a lot of damage and set up our Zamazenta to get a kill the next time it's in, maybe. Although the Great Tusk is still 100% HP, so maybe not. But yeah, Earthquake is super free for us. They either sack Rotom or they sack Petch, I guess. I mean, Petch could just Parting Shot, and then Rotom might live the -1 Future Sight, because if you didn't know, Future Sight is based off the stats of what's already in. So if Treads is -1, then it's not going to kill anything. Okay, so they choose to go Hoopa and take no damage, which is fair. Here we're going to Lando, I think, because if they knock, we get the Helm Chip off. Or if they drain, we also get Big Chip off. So I like that. And now we're going to go ahead and just U-turn. Actually, honestly, I'm considering just rocking. Keeping that Hoopa at 1 HP. And if Tusk comes in, we'll trade all of our HP for it, but probably not. Let's just U-turn. Alright, here I'm going to bring Hydrapple in. Fickle Beam should claim a kill, so I'll just rip it. They probably trick us though, is my guess. Yep. So we made a lot of progress. Hoopa's really low, Petch is really low. Tusk is forced to come in here. Pretty sure we're going to be tearing Hydrapple anyway, so if they go Tusk, I might actually Terra. I think Headlong Rush would be a very insane play for them to make. Alright, so Slitherwing back in. I'm down to just Slowking here. And then we can just Chilly out. Catch the Great Tusk. Great. And now we'll go Hydrapple, and we'll go for a Fickle Beam. We can pretty freely fish for another Fickle Beam. We don't really lose anything from going for it. Right, because they're not actually healing that much from Morning Sun. But it's not a worth exchange at this point. So we're just going to go back to Slowking. And here, I think I will click Sludge Bomb. Sludge Bomb is a pretty easy click. If we get the poison on a Great Tusk, we're looking real great. We don't, but that's fine. We can just Lando into Apple. Game state is not guaranteed for us by any means, but it looks decent, I think. Okay, they just get the spin. Here we can actually pivot Za, I think. I think Za's probably fine. And now we can try to Stone Edge into the Slitherwing, see how much it does. Okay. Now I don't mind not risking crit and just going for a crunch. Here I'm down to Lando and Rocks. Okay, they go for the U-turn momentum play, which is fine by us, honestly. We're getting some chip on Slither. This is still a scary game, though. Because this Tusk don't really have any switch-ins. Alright, I'm going to calc here. So we do drop if we Terra Ghost and Earthquake, unfortunately. So I think we're just going to U-turn into... Well, I was going to say U-turn into Za, but now we should just Slowking. I'm actually not sure how much Fimp does to us. If U-turn did 35, Fimp is doing a little bit more. But this might go for Morning Sun. So I'm honestly down to Toxic here. Okay, great. We get the Toxic on Slitherwing. That's a really, really big deal. Now we can just Chilly out. Now Zama is really looking good. Because there's only 2 Morning Suns left. We just gotta play the long game. We can bring Zama in for free. Fire off a close combat. Okay, they bring in Petch. Probably just gonna double into their Slitherwing here. But we can play... Okay, well, This video might not matter if the recording is completely gone, so hopefully it's fine. But my God, I'm a little tilted and a little upset. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, well, I'm just gonna tear here and close combat because I don't care. The Slithering goes for Wisp, and yeah, it's pretty much just game over. Oh my God, so my cat just closed all my tabs, including OBS, so I have no idea if the recording is still active. And I'm really hoping it is, because I am really, really sad about this. But we'll find out very soon. But yeah, this game, we're destroying our opponent. This should be a guaranteed dub. God, I'm actually really sad if this series doesn't go up because I recorded some really strong games and I just have no idea. All right, we'll Lando first. We'll just click Earthquake because it really doesn't matter at this point. Oh my God, though. Like, I really hope we keep the game. Jesus Christ. Wait, there's no way Hoopa is able to drain punch enough off of us, right? Like, surely not. We'll find out, though. A little bit tilt clicked based off what just happened. Oh, we're actually faster. What the hell? Alright, how much does drain do? Yeah, that heals nothing for them. We're fine. Alright, GG to our opponent. Hopefully the video is redeemable. If it is, then I'll continue by doing one more game. But if it's not, I'm going to be very, very sad. Alright, looks like the recording was luckily saved. And we are now top 8 on the ladder after beating Crying, who was like 1970 elo or like 1990 elo. So we got a lot of points from that. I'm going to grab one more game with this team, and I'll see you for that. Alright, we have our final game, and it's versus a very disgusting looking team. It's actually going to be really tough to break, I think, honestly. I'm not actually sure we have the tools to break it, because we're not heavy slam on Za. And they do have the rare Hydrapple counter in Tornadus. So I think Terra Ogerpon might have to go crazy here. Speaking of Ogerpon, I think it's a very fine lead here. Well, that might be a lie. Let's actually lead Treads. Let's just try to knock something out. Knock something off, not knock something out. However, knocking something out would be ideal, low-key. I think we're just going to knock this. We'll happily take the burn trade, I'm pretty sure. And then we'll just go Slowking here on the pretty obvious Aloe or Torn. And now we get a pretty free Toxic on something, which is pretty nice. I keep saying pretty, but it's facts. Lando is needed for Seru, so I definitely want to preserve all that HP. Kind of down to Hydrapple here. Okay, they just get their rocks up. That's fine. We're going to click a Fickle Beam, test the waters on what the Torn set is, but they actually go Iron Crown instead. Takes only 10%, looking like AV. We're just going to Earth Power, trade some damage off. We go for Focus Blast, which is a little crazy, but that's good shit for us. And now I'm kind of down to Slowking. Yep, we catch the Torn again, and now we can Chili out here. The thing with getting rocks up with Lando is actually going to be pretty tough too. Because we don't want Lando taking any damage because of that Sacrilege. Okay, so they go for an insane nasty plot. We're actually forced to bring Za in and go for a Stone Edge. Maybe force to tear out this right now. Well, this is kind of a sus position. Like, they definitely have no reason to risk anything, but okay, they do. All right, well, that's a really big headache out the way in Tornadus. Now, Geese is in. Probably just going to try to burn something. But we can just let Slowking take the burn without any problems. Alright, that's a nice play going to Cerulege. Low key, depending on the set, we can't really... This is pretty scary. Huh. Like, this thing is going to either Swords Dance or fire off a Poltergeist. And either way, it's not great. Okay, they're the taunt set. That's not bad for us. We could just Earth Power it once. They go for Terra Bulk Up. We actually have Dragon Tails, so we don't care. Yeah, wait, we're actually super chilling. We don't care about the Cerulege at all. Wait, they're kind of mad. Low key. I'm down to just Slowking here. In case they Sludge Bomb or Toxic. Okay, they're actually dual... Okay, and we get a nice, easy forfeit. Alright, 3 wins, 2010 ladder ranking. I think after the long second game, we're going to call it here. But I hope you guys enjoyed. If you liked, make sure to like and subscribe. That didn't make sense. Excuse my terrible, terrible wording. But also, shouts to all my members. I really, really appreciate all of you guys. And also all the people that just watch my videos on the daily as well. Much love, and you guys are the reason I do these videos. Make sure to take care, and I'll catch you very soon. Bye-bye.